My beautiful, diverse American people. What's up? How y'all doing? It's me, JD, the good JD, George Delara, with my clipboard of thoughts, of ideas. And, I kind of been nostalgic over these past days. Just nostalgic for the pride that our nation once felt. Two main things. There were two things that those of you that have been around a little bit and those of you who have educated yourself a little bit will know, and these things will ring familiar. Because we were proud of two things. Number one was that we were the melting pot of the world. We were the place where people from all over the world came together under one flag to live their lives in freedom. And it showed. It showed. We became the greatest democracy the world has ever known because of that. Talent, music, art, innovation, technology, all came through that diverse melting pot of talent from all over the world that came to our shores and made America that beacon of freedom for the entire planet. The second one that we were proud to say that we were, was the breadbasket of the world. We were the breadbasket of the world. Our crops, our food, we had enough food that could feed the world abundantly with leftovers. That's who we were. The breadbasket of the world. I mean, both of those things, the melting pot and the breadbasket, were both powered by that beautiful, talented diversity in agriculture, in farming, in music, in tech. Cattle, dairy. We could feed the whole world and have leftovers. So what happened? Simple. Greed, ignorance, and hatred. Corporatizing those resources for the benefit of a few destroyed those American values, those American points of pride that made us the most powerful nation in the world. Greed, ignorance, and hatred. Destroyed those. So we need to go back, and that's where that nostalgia comes to me. Get back to that founding father's vision, the original vision of a nation built on freedom. That's all they wanted. They did not set out to build a Christian nation. They did not set out to build a white nation. They set out to build a nation on freedom. That's it. And we've lost that way. We've lost that way, and I know it was a terrible thing. It happened. A lot of you weren't even born then, but we were attacked. We had people take planes and run them into the towers in New York and attacked our nation on our soil like never before. The fear that came out of that was horrible. I mean, that's something we had never experienced. But malevolent forces saw profit in that fear. And they began to weaponize that fear. And that's where we now live in that 1984 movie of the surveillance and everything. My videos don't get shared on the Tiki one now that it's under American control, because when it was under Chinese control, they didn't give a fuck about our freedom. They thought it was our downfall. So they let people express their freedom. Now that it's under autocratic dictatorial control, my videos that I would get 300-400 views within 30 seconds of posting have gotten 5, 6 in weeks, while the other platforms is still performing like they usually do. So it's a concerted, directed attack to silence Americans speaking their First Amendment and saying that we the people can do better, that a shoe can do better. So you're going to hear the grift about how, because we can, that predator mentality, because we can, because we have the power, we're going to impose our will on the world. That's what rapists do. That's what child predators do. That's what pedophiles do, guys. Do you not see it's the same attitude? So enough of that stupid, racist, pedophile, rapist, predator attitude. And let's get back to a nation built on freedom. A nation governed by love and intelligence. Not ignorance and hatred and cowardness and barking, bark, bark, bark. And that's what they are. You're going to see a white little dog barking about how great he is today. You're going to see it. You'll see it live and in color. Bark, 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 bark. I'm so bark, 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 bark. I did bark, 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 bark. That's all you're going to hear. And the ass lickers in the audience. Come on, man. You've seen the grift. You've seen that everything they're doing is a grift. You've been scammed. They didn't win. He didn't get shot. The investigation, the confiscation of the voter documents from Atlanta proved that Elon is the one who cheated. And that's what, thank Elon for knowing them voting machines, meant. It wasn't a compliment. It was a brag. A Freudian confession. But there's no cojones. There's no cojones in Congress. The sea squirt, that little organism that attaches itself to a rock and digests its own brain, that's Congress. That's what you've elected to Congress. Sea squirts. So we need something different. We need cojones. We need one of us. Because you see that they're all in the shit. All of them. They're not profiting from it. They're ignoring it. They're in it. They're with it. They're on the island. You know who's not going to be on the island? You know who's not going to be on the logs? You know who's not going to be on the flights, on anything related to any of that bullshit? George DeLara. He's not on any of that shit. I guarantee you are not on any of that shit. That's why we need one of us. Someone who's not a captain of industry. Someone who did not do business with pedophiles, with rapists, with a white stupidity. Because tacos are supreme. There ain't nothing supreme about ignorance and hatred. So let's call it what it is. White stupidity. I ain't seen anything to say different. So it's time for one of us. We've had military leaders, we've had political leaders, we've had an actor, we have a P.T. Barnum steal an election and buy and grift their way through it. Enough. Enough of that stupid shit. Time for one of us. We the people. I'm George DeLara, the good JD. Doesn't have to be me, it could be you. A single mom who's raised 3 kids, I keep saying that, who's, despite her idiot husband, raised 3 successful children. That's leadership. Overcoming ignorance and hatred. On small budgets, feeding everybody, keeping everybody happy, keeping everybody healthy. That's leadership. And that's the only job of a president. To make the lives better of its people. Not to make yourself rich. We don't need a nation that's rich. They're going to tell you, they're going to misuse the word prosperity. Because they think prosperity is the stock market that benefits 8 or 9 different companies. They think that's success, that's prosperity. Meanwhile, I'm down to 2 meals a week. I grew up, they used to call me, as a kid, El Niño Valdez. That is historic. Back in Cuban history, there was this boxer who was named El Niño Valdez, the kid Valdez translates to, who loved steak. He ate steak every day. And that's what he credited his success. He's a championship boxer, El Niño Valdez. So that's what they used to call me because I loved eating steak. I eat steak every day. To this day, New York strip is my jam. I can't afford them. I can't afford them. I'm an old man on Social Security. And that's where the crazy and impossible comes in. That's why I want you to understand how crazy and impossible I named this, because it's crazy and impossible to think that a middle-of-the-road, poor Latino who's been chewed up and spit out by the country that he loves, a man who has spent his entire life lifting himself up by his bootstraps, starting businesses, starting organizations, getting them to making something out of nothing over and over and over again to the point where they can succeed, only to have those bootstraps cut off, then the boots stolen. And I still love my country. I still know that this is the land of opportunity. And I know that that's why people come to the border. That's why in my policies, I want people to come to the border. But it's not going to be like it is now. There's going to be education, opportunity, training, vetting. We're going to know exactly who's coming to the border, and we're going to disperse them accordingly. We're not going to warehouse people to create slave labor manufacturing, which is the goal, because if deportation is the goal, is what you're doing, why are you building detention facilities and holding facilities? And facilities with incinerators. Yes, sir. Do your research. They are building facilities with incinerators. They're calling them trash incinerators, of course. But there's a very, very bad taste in building incinerators where you're building prisons, where you're going to house humanity. It doesn't sound right. But that's who they are. We saw who they are when they could not celebrate in their biggest game of the year. They could not celebrate with us. They needed a separate water fountain. That's who they are. So enough of that shit. You're gonna hear ignorance and hatred. You're gonna hear predatory America being touted as something good. Because we can, we're gonna take, we're gonna destroy, we're gonna make new. What a predator tells a child. What a rapist does to its victim. Because we can, we're gonna do it. That's what you're gonna hear. And they're gonna call that prosperity. They're gonna call that success. Because they are taking in more money than ever. And you saw that the Supreme Court is gonna be right there. You'll see them right there. Who My opinion is that they want more money. That's why they ruled against the tariffs, because they're not getting any of that money. So that could change. But you saw that they're going to do it anyway, because he wants to keep screwing you, the country that pays for the tariffs. You. He wants to keep screwing you. So for another 150 days, he's going to screw you, even though the Supreme Court said it's illegal to screw you. He wants to keep screwing you. So they have other ways. They've got alternative ways of fucking you. They have alternative ways. And they're going to use them because they are predators. The rapist will rape. The child molester will molest. They've done it. They have a track record of it. So enough of that stupid shit. Time for one of us. They're going to go after the midterms. They're going to go after them hard. This SAVE Act is malevolence. It is just about disenfranchising voters. That's it. It's not about safety. Like I said, Russia and Cuba have the safest elections of all. Only approved voters can vote for only approved candidates. And that's where they're heading. That's where this is heading. That's what that SAVE Act brings forth. That structure, that groundwork. First, it'll be safe elections, safe electorate, only approved voters. Then it's only approved candidates. It's the Putin way. It's the Castro way. It's the blueprint, the playbook that they're following. It's not new. There's nothing innovative, nothing creative. This is just good old-fashioned fascism with an American twist. So enough of that shit. God bless you. We the people. Crazy and impossible. I'm George Delata. This will not get any play. This will not get shared, promoted, unless you do it. Save it to your drive. Share it with your friends. The oligarchy isn't going to do it. The mediums are not going to do it. They don't want to hear freedom. They don't want to hear the voices of free, independent America. They want to dictate in a Putin-Castro Project 2025 autocracy. We ain't having that shit, bitches. So take your beta boy bitch shit, and we're coming for you. Justice is coming for you. We the people. Crazy and impossible.